Welcome back. In the quest for maximum power and out of idle curiosity, we pull the spark plugs and rebuild the carburetor on my 1972 F250. Last time, we finished the boom tube Rev 2. We do wide open throttle pulls in this thing. Wanting to keep all 8 of my pistons intact, I thought it'd be a good idea to pull the spark plugs, verify the jetting in the carburetor, the power valve size, reset the idle mixture, and rebuild the carburetor. During reassembly of the carburetor, I encounter a critical issue. It takes me exactly a week, a couple hours after work every day. Join me in my genuine struggle in making this old truck run a little bit better. To tell you the truth, I already pulled a spark plug right here. Everything looks good. I'm gonna pull the next one down. I'm gonna real quick write the cylinder number on my boots. Ow. I'm gonna be honest. That one could have been tighter. And we'll just check 8 since we're here. A good tip. Before you pull your plugs out, get some compressed air and just try to blow out any, blow the grime out that will collect around the spark plug so it doesn't fall into your cylinder when you pull the plug out. All right, we're on the passenger side bank here. Okay. This one does have some oil on the threads that did not come from a valve cover, I can tell you that. God. Ow. Ah. This one actually smells like gas. See, that's why we're doing this. This one's pretty wet. It's a little more brown, and it actually smells like fuel. Very interesting. The carburetor could leak a little bit. We'll take a look at that. I'm gonna bring them onto the bench and let's do a little bit of research. Cylinders 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These all look good. This one's a little bit more white. This is the one that smelled like gas, so maybe we'll pop the carb and see if we can see residue. They all look all right though. I don't think we're lean. I don't think we're in any sort of danger. Check the gap real quick. Just gonna slide these plugs back in. Plug these bad boys back in. Boom. Nice. Let's do this bank. Let's sneak that right under the master cylinder. Oh yeah, baby. Do some wiring. Spark plugs, check. Let's dig into this carburetor. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm missing a squirter on that side. Holy crap. What is going on there? Let's pop this carb off. I'm gonna crack this fuel line. Oh yeah, baby. This is an old Edelbrock Street Master 390. It is a single plane and it's a lot cleaner than I thought it was gonna be. This cylinder, the one that smelled like gas, this squirter is missing. So when I hit the gas pedal, it's dumping fuel into this side full bore. The raw gas is going to hit the bottom of this side of the plenum and then go to that cylinder. So that makes total sense. We're missing this squirter. You can see one there. See the little pointy guy? That's the squirter nozzle. It's like it got broken off or something. So we got the bowl off. We're running 70.5, and then I took the metering block off because I wanted to see what this power valve was. This truck has a pretty mean mid-range, whoa, kind of dip in it. I think it might be because of the power valve here. It says 4.5. We pulled the plugs, we checked them. They looked okay. We pulled the carb. We got 70.5 primary jets. We got 78.5 secondaries. We have a 4.5 power valve. Cylinder number 4 spark plug was very gassy. Metering blocks soaking in my carburetor cleaner can over there. I'm gonna order some gaskets, power valve, carburetor cleaner, rebuild kit. Metering blocks have been marinating overnight. We're gonna be switching from a 4.5 to a 6.5 power valve, and I think that'll help richen up the mid-range. All right, we're gonna take this power valve out. It's an enrichment circuit, that's all. Now, I'm going to check underneath this distributor cap. There's quite a bit of corrosion in there. So I'm going to come in here with a wire brush and clean the corrosion. I'm going to file that down too so it's nice and shiny. Boom. All right, now we can fire it back up. Firing order confirmed. We definitely have some cylinders not firing. So I've pulled all these spark plugs out of the passenger side bank and they've all been dripping wet with gasoline. Getting all that old carbon and fuel deposits, all that old stuff off. And then hit them with the... Okay, they will jump out of your socket. Then, these cylinders are full of gasoline, so I'm taking my nozzle and then actually sticking it in the spark plug hole. Alright, so the passenger side bank has been repulled, cleaned, and blown out the cylinders. I'm gonna go ahead and do the driver's side. Something is vastly wrong. Well, got the front bowl and metering block off this thing. Well, let's review what we did to the carburetor. Accelerator pump diaphragm, vacuum secondary diaphragm, 2 needle and seats, and the power valve, and then new gaskets. The front bowl off, because I knew something was wrong. It was dumping raw gas down the carburetor. So much so that all 8 plugs were wet. So I took the front float bowl off, the front metering block out, and took the power valve out, and there was not 1, but there was 2 gaskets on the power valve. The gaskets are very thin, so I took the power valve off. 1 gasket stayed on the metering block, 1 gasket stayed on the power valve. Boom. My thinking is that that gasket was not allowing the proper vacuum signal to happen, yada yada yada, and the power valve was basically open and just dumping gas in. Let's test that theory. I'm gonna put the metering block back on, put the float bowl back in, and try to fire it up. It is really wet in there. Why is it so wet? Something is wrong. I just took the front float bowl back off, put the old power valve back in, put in a new front metering block gasket. Let's see how it goes. It changed to nothing. Okay, well, the whole thing's coming off. So I just pulled the carb back off all the way. I put the 6.5 power valve back in because I put the old power valve back in and it's still idled really funny. Base plate gasket, power valve. Anyways, let's try to fire this thing back up. Something is very wrong. Well, I'm gonna call it again for tonight. It's a Wednesday afternoon, midweek, 6:30. I'm gonna go inside to my wife and baby girl. Think about this one. Something's wrong with the carburetor. Carburetor's wrong. There's something wrong with the carburetor. Finkel is Einhorn. Finkel is Einhorn. I checked every bolt. Gotta go now. This is day 3 or 4. I've been out of town working, so I haven't had time to work on the truck during the week. We're doing it now. Took the carburetor completely off the truck, completely disassembled it. I think I figured out the issue. I think we had the wrong gasket on the metering block, and there's this little hole right there. It's for the accelerator pump squirter nozzle. I had this one on there. See that open hole? What I think we need to put in there is this one. So I went and bought some new metering block gaskets. I also figured it was probably time to get a new base plate gasket. This one caught my eye because it says NASCAR Performance on it. So that's going in. This is the scene this morning. We got the base plate off. Cleaned this guy up. That looks fine. Here's the main throttle body. So see that hole right there? This goes like that. See that hole? So this goes there and lines up with that. We got that gasket. We're gonna put on a new base plate gasket. We got the carburetor back together, ready to slap this thing back on, just like this. Complete disassembly, thorough cleaning, new metering block gaskets, new base plate gasket, verified float level. I'm thinking it was this front metering block gasket wasn't right. Fuel line, check. Vacuum lines, check. Throttle, check. Springs, check. Fuel in float bowls. It's fixed. I think idle's nice. Let's get a vacuum gauge on this real quick. Alright, so here's my vacuum gauge. I have it teed in here. Put the gauge on there and then was adjusting the idle mixture to have the most vacuum. You look at your tachometer and then you kind of readjust your idle screw and then you can kind of keep adjusting. But the target is the most vacuum. I don't know, 750. Is that high? What are you guys idling at? And then we're right up around 15 inches. We revved it up and I could actually see the secondaries opening, so that's confirmed. We do have the 6.5 power valve in there. And so when you whack it at about half throttle, so watch it go lower. That's 5. I don't know, it sounds like it's running pretty good to me. Let's do a test drive. Looking good. All right, let's hit it. Ooh, crispy. Oh yeah. The throttle response feels really good. We're 20 miles an hour. Second gear. I'm gonna drop it into first and floor it. Yes. It just feels nice and crisp. It's running good though. And yes, that boom tube, 100% unlocked horsepower. At some RPM, like 6,000, it will resonate with the headers and the intake and the carb and whatnot, and it boop, hits that peak, and it didn't do that before. Anyways, well, that was a success.